Okay, good morning. We are up to Siman Kuf Tzadi Tes Halacha Ches. So we're talking about who can and who cannot be involved in the Zimun. So far we spoke about a kuti, a non-Jewish person. We spoke about the waiter. We spoke about an oinein. We spoke about noshim and avodim and katanim. Now what we're going to focus on today is the androgynous and the tumtum, and we're also then going to focus on the cotton, which we'll discuss the question: can the Mitzva boy lead the Zimun at his own Mitzva Suda? It's not so poshut. So take a look. First of all, let's start at Sif Ches. Says the Mechaba androgynous mezamin leminay ve'ein mezamin loy la'anoshim ve'enoshim. And then in Halacha Tes, tumtum eina mezamin klal. So what is the difference between a tumtum and an androgynous? So a tumtum, an androgynous is where it's a min b'fnei, you just don't know what it is. Is it a zochar? Is it an akeva? Because it's got both simonim. Mashenken, a tumtum is just totally covered up, and we just don't know whether it's a zochar or an akeva. You can do some sort of operation and then you figure it out. So therefore, says the Mechaba in Ches, androgynous, where it's got shtei simonim, it's got the zachrus and the nakvas, and you're not sure what if it's a zochar, it's not a zochar, it's not an akeva. So mezamin leminay, i.e., if there are three androgynuses sitting together, then they can do their own zimun. Ve'ena mezamin loyla anoshim v'loy noshim. But if you've got two anoshim, two men, or if you've got two noshim, then the androgynous will not help you. Says the Mishnah Berurah, why not? Mezamin leminay, he can be mezamin called the kol androgynous echotem, because they're all the same min, they're all the same category. Mashen came betumtum lekame, because Mashen came the tumtum could be a zocher, it could be an akeva. The androgynous is like a min b'fnei atzmai. So therefore, if you've got three androgynuses together, that works. Why? Because with the tumtum, Mashen came betumtum lekame, the shem azeh yikare v'yim sezocher was an akeva. Because it could be with a tumtum, it's all covered up, it's all sort of sealed, and therefore you open up, you do an operation, and you'll see that actually it's a zocher, it's an akeva or something. Ve'ein noshim is tarfas im anoshim uchude'el, like we said previously in Sivov. V'lola anoshim, and nor could he join the androgynous with the anoshim, the shem and the kevi, because maybe this is categorized as an akeva, and it's by besivov she'ein mezamnin alen, that also wouldn't work. V'chelim anoshim, and so too he can't join the noshim. This androgynous can't join noshim with women. The shem ezochahu ve'ein chavros and no. We said before, it wouldn't be appropriate for them to join to join the women. Okay, so therefore the androgynous can either do it the three of them themselves, but they cannot join men and women. What about a tumtum? So tumtum, the Mechaba says in Sif Tes, eino mezamin klal. The tumtum is different because we can open up the tumtum and then we'll see if he's a zocher or if he's an akeva, and therefore that's one big sofik. So says the Mechaba, says the Mishnah Berurah, in Chof Beis, eino mezamin klal, hainu afilim shnei tumtum acherim. You can't have three tumtum together, it does not work. Why? Because maybe one of them is a zocha and two in a kavas, or the other way around. And certainly if you've got two men, the tumtum is not going to help you because maybe he's a woman. And if they're two women, maybe he's a man. But if you've got three men together where there is a proper zimun without this tumtum, then he could answer why because if he's a man, then he's the fourth man. If he's a woman, then a woman answers if there are three men. So either way, that would work. Okay, now let's go to the main point. Yud cotton. Says the Mechaba, cotton she'egia le'onas hapoyatos. A cotton, a young child who has reached a certain stage. It's like a whiz kid. A poyatos means he's businessly minded. He knows how to handle a little bit. He's a certain maturity. The Gemara says in Bab Mitzvah, I think, that he's a certain sophistication. So how old is that? The Mishnah Berurah is going to say he's about 9 years old. So a cotton she'egia le'onas hapoyatos, and therefore he knows to whom he is benching. So according to the Mechaba, a child who is 9 or above is able to join in a zimun. He can join in a zimun. Now the Ramah says, which is what we're used to, that a child cannot be part of the zimun, and that means he doesn't count as the 3 or the 10. Until he's 13 years old, and because then we assume he is considered like a gadol because he's got shtei sa'aros, 2 pubic hairs. Okay, let's stop there and do the Mishnah Berurah. Sif Cotton Chof Gimel. So a child who has reached the age of poatos, but less than 9, if the kid is a kid, then he certainly can't be included. Ha-poatos, chof dalet, says in Mishnah Berurah, hainu keben teisha keben eser, 9 or 10 years old, quoting the Magen Avram. V'yesh omrim duadim pochas mishizeh, and some say even less than that, imhu rak ben sheish v'mala, even if he's more than 6 years old, imhu charif v'yodeh l'mivarchin, if he's particularly mature and he knows to whom he is benching, even a 6-year-old, says Mishnah Berurah, could count. Now this is the shitta of the Mechaber, umitztaref. So you can only have one of them. You can't have too many kids joining the Zimun. So you can have one. He can join. He can be your number 3, and that's true for whether it's 3 or whether it's 10. Now, if you look at number 18, he said just in the first sentence there, he says, "Omnan legabi kaddish baruch hu v'kedusha." Even the Shulchan Aruch agrees that's not going to help you. Echriya Shulchan Aruch le'el in Siman Nun Hey she'ein koten mitzaref leminyan asara. A child is not going to help you to count for a minyan of 10 for kosev api halacha, and the reason is mishum dovish b'kedusha chamur yoiseh. You need that dovish b'kedusha. You need more. Masha'enke in the Zimun is considered different. Now, bein l'shleisha. So this is chavov. So that's the Mechaber's shitta is that a child is able to join the Zimun, whether it's a Zimun of 3 or of 10. Says the Mishnah Berurah Chavov, the Shleisha v'hoda isa b'sivov, the ein mezamne laktanim. We said previously in Sivov that a cotton can't join. Yeah, Mari b'ktanim b'yoseh, we're talking very young children. Or he's not mature enough to know to whom he's benching. So the shita of the Mechaber is a child can join in a Zimun. The Ramah says, Yesh Omrim de'ein mitzarfin so klal, he's got to be 13 years old, where at that point there's a chazaka that he's produced shtei sa'aros, etc., etc. Says Mishnah Berurah Chav Zayin, Da'amrinan kiven she'gir lechlal shonim, since he's arrived at 13 years old, mistama de kvar hevi shtei sa'aros, we assume that he's already produced 2 sa'aros, ve'ein tzarich bedika achazeh, we don't need to check. Avalim bodku huvanimsa she'ein b'shtei sa'aros, but if you do happen to know, the father perhaps knows that the child has not got shtei sa'aros, lo mitzarfin leil zimun. And that's very interesting. Yeah, that means a child, if he hasn't got shtei sa'aros and the father knows, or whoever knows, then he can't join the Zimun. V'chol elu hadeus hu raknin and sir sheyim mitzarf l'shtei shel v'asara. That's only true for Zimun of 3 or 10. Aval shehiyeh hu ha'mezamein v'yoytze achem b'rech zamozon l'kula alma eina moytze hatshu ben gunsham v'yamechav yodua shevi shtei sa'aros. I.e., for him to lead the Zimun, then we need to know that he's a gadol mamish, there's a proper gadol, he's got shtei sa'aros, shebirch samozim min ha-Torah, or v'shal Torah ein soimim ha-chazaka zu, the mistama hevi. We can't assume that he has produced shtei sa'aros, we don't know. Miu, however, im ha-mezamin ein oime ki im nevarech, v'chol birch samozim nevarech kol echad ve'echad la'atzme k'min agenu. If, however, he's just saying Rabbi Sai nevarech, and everyone is benching for themselves, then it's okay, there's no problem. Because les lamod the kivin shu ben yud gimel shana samchinen bazeh al chazaka. Okay, so in other words, just to summarize, if according to the Mechaber, a child who is either 9 or 10, or if he's particularly mature, 6 or above, can join the Zimun, whether it's 3 or whether it's 10. According to the Ramah, the minhag is that children do not join. You've got to wait till they're 30 years and upwards, and there's a chazaka that they've got shtei sa'aros, they're a gadol mamish. For them to lead the Zimun, and be moitzi others in benching, which is a deraisa, then we actually have to know that he's got shtei sa'aros. But just to lead the benching, just to say Rabbi Sai Nevarech, that would be okay, even when we assume that he's of age. Now, just one quick point, that is never so posh. So according to this, it would be okay for the mitzvah boy to lead the benching. Okay. However, look at 22. The Chazon Ish argues the sova she zimun midaraisa. Yeah, like we said previously, Valkain Kosov b'Sheina halachas, and therefore the Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky in his Sefer writes, she'ein litin leben yud gimel lezamen al smacha chazaka. You should not give a 13-year-old just to lead the zimun. Shehainu shebilodov yesh shleisha gedolim, unless there are 3 others. V'hainu shebilodov yesh shleisha gedolim. V'haisiv shehainu shebilodov yesh shleisha gedolim. If there are 3 other gedolim without him, yeah. In other words, you should not do it. And listen to this. The stipler, the stipler said to his grandson, he didn't allow his grandson to bench at his own Sudas HaMitzvah. Achein Baruch HaShulchan Pasuk Kedas HaMishnah Berurah. The Baruch HaShulchan however passes like the Mishnah Berurah. V'haisiv shekein amin pashat she'achosin b'mitzvah mezamin b'Sudas HaMitzvah, that a b'mitzvah boy does bench Va'af haksos hashulchan. Kosov sheminig sheben yud gimel yud mezamen. He does bench v'kaf Chaim. Af bia kem divrei hazeh. Shemitzvah litzin koisha bracha livnei kedei lechancha b'mitzvah. So in short, a child less than bar mitzvah can definitely not be moitzi another person in birchas hamazon. In terms of leading the zimun, the minhag olam is that he does, and that's based on the Mishnah Berurah, the Orach HaShulchan, etc., etc. But the Chazon Ish, there are those who dispute that, the Chazon Ish, the Stipler, etc. And unless you know for certain that he's a godel because he's got shtei saras, then they would hold back. But our minhag is that the mitzvah boy does.
Yeah.